Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Amina, and it has been a while since I've done anything GCSE or A-level related, but today I'm back with a good one because I have actually got 5 different, well 4 technically, textbooks for you, and I'm actually going to compare them for you, and I'm going to be looking at, and I've written this down, where is it? Depth of content, breadth of questions, independent use, so how much you can use it by itself, revision, and formatting, so the way it looks. These are quite expensive. These books, cost like £5, £6 to £10, and this is for one subject. So imagine having to buy it for all your subjects. So it's really important that the books that you do end up buying, they are helpful, but also are worthwhile and will mean that you are able to achieve the grade that you desire. Now, the first thing I want to say about textbooks is make sure that you buy the book that is best suited, or is the one that is suited for your particular exam specification. So I've got some here. This one is for Pearson, Edexcel. I've also got an AQA one. So just make sure that when you are purchasing, you get the right one. They're not too different, but there are differences, and you want to make sure that you are on the right track. If you want to confirm, show your teacher, ask them, is this the right one? And they will confirm it with you. I definitely think that textbooks are a helpful tool, especially times when you may not know like what to do and you just want a bit of guidance and you may not have like as much support from school, or you want to kind of have your own thing that you're doing on the side. I really used to use them so much. Like I honestly grew up doing textbooks for the most part, to get ahead of things in class and to catch up on things. So I would recommend them, but just make sure that you do your research before purchasing. So let's get started. So I'm going to start off with Pearson Revise. So Pearson Revise is, I think it's a newish textbook, if I'm not mistaken, but it's from Pearson Edexcel, which is actually a really good sign because it is actually written by the Edexcel group, which is one of the exam bodies. So this has 2 different types. So by the way, I've chosen the mathematics ones for all of them just because I used to teach maths in secondary school, and I think I have a good idea as to like whether or not I would like recommend this to my students or give this to one of my children. So this is the first one. It's a Pearson Edexcel GCSE 9 to 1 mathematics. I've also chosen the higher tier again because because I want to. Okay, so there's 2 of these books. Now, one of them is a revision guide and the other one is a revision workbook. And that's something to note. Sometimes you'll get guides that say it includes a revision guide, it includes a workbook, it includes past papers, and that is something that you want to look out for, because if you're having to buy 2 books, that's going to be more pricey than, for example, buying one book like this where it's 3 in 1. Okay, so just be aware of that. So let's start off with the Pearson revision guide and workbook. Now, I can't obviously show you that much inside because I'm probably not allowed to show you without you guys actually purchasing it, but I will show you like 1 or 2 pages to give you an idea. So the revision workbook is all in black and white, which is quite nice. I do like the idea that there isn't too much color going on, especially when you're actually doing work and you're practicing and you're going through your questions. I would prefer there to be no distractions and colors, because in your exam there aren't going to be any colors and distractions. So I do like that this book is obviously black and white, and it means that you can just get on with the questions. I also really like that they've got longer questions, so I can see that they've got 4-mark questions, 5-mark questions, 6-mark questions, and that is reflective of what your actual exam is going to have. So that's really good as well. Range of questions. The one thing I love, by the way, about the Pearson Revise books is the top tick boxes. You've got these statements. One says had a go, the next one says nearly there, and the third one says nailed it. It's essentially telling you that you've had a go, so you've tried it once. The second time is that you're nearly there, so you might try it again. The third time is that you've nailed it, and nailed it means that you're perfect at it. So what I would do with these is I would think to myself, okay, first time is I had a go, it's like the first look. The second time is nearly there, it's like my second look, and I probably add like a few weeks before doing it again, and then nailed it would be like the third time. So I like that reminder, because if you're like looking for things to do, you can kind of just go and say, right, I'm gonna try this again because I haven't done it more than once, so I've never done it. So I like that. Then looking at the revision guide. So the revision guide, this is obviously going to be in color. I've looked through this, and although I do find it to be a little bit busy, there is a lot of information. I like that it's in boxes. I like that it's kind of like boxed away so it's not so messy like a few others that I've seen in the past. But the thing I love about the Pearson Revise is that they have these examiner report boxes. So every so often you'll see one of these pink boxes, which is an examiner's report box. So you'll see one there. Most pages have one, you see one over there as well. And it'll say something like this. This question has 2 pairs of solutions. Each solution is an X value and a Y value. You need to find 4 in total and pair them up correctly. Students have struggled with these in exams before. Be prepared. And I like this because actually this is a simultaneous equation and students always forget to get 2 pairs of X and Y. And that's a target, that's a grade 8 question. And it actually says grade 8 over there as well, which I like because it tells you like the grades that you have. And being able to say, right, this is what an examiner is saying that you need to look out for means it will probably be in your paper. So I really like that. So this is one of my favorites of the bunch. The next one is the Collins Edexcel GCSE 9-1 Maths Higher. This is the Collins one. It has the revision guide, workbook, and the practice paper all in one. So this is probably a better investment in terms of like, this is just one price, I suppose. But yeah, if you go into it, you can see that I think because they've condensed everything into one massive book, it does seem like it's a little bit more condensed, which is fine. I think it's a good option for when you want to revise quickly. It does seem a little bit more basic, like it doesn't necessarily say, it says like what range the grade is. So it'll say this is grade 7 to 9, but I like that the other one like specified like this is a grade 4, this is a grade 8, because 7 to 9 is a huge difference. Like a 7 question and a 9 question are 2 very different questions. So I like that. But I also really like how they've got key points as well on the side. They've got like arrows pointing out saying like remember this, remember that, if you had this, and they give like other situations on the side. I quite like that. I like also how Collins have like quite a few tables scattered throughout that show you different characteristics. So this one, for example, says has different quadrilaterals and their properties, so sides, angles, lines of symmetry, etc. And that's a really nice thing that you can just like copy onto a little flashcard, and it really lends itself quite well to like revising. So yeah, I like this one as well. A bit quieter, by the way, not as loud and as much going on. The next one I'm gonna go through is the CGP GCSE. This is AQA, but either way. This is CGP. CGP, these books, honestly, like I feel like I was raised on CGP books, which I love CGP books. They are very loud from what I can remember, and actually if you go look at them, there's a lot going on. So if you're someone who struggles with like a lot going on, then this may not be for you. There's definitely like a lot of like writing, a lot of text, which can't always be helped, especially because there's so much information they're trying to put onto one page. So I can understand why that is, why they obviously do that. But I love how it's very, very clear, what you're learning, what the topic is, what the subtopic is. So for example, it will say estimating calculations or estimating square root. And those are 2 different things. And it gives the exact grade. So calculations, that's grade 4, square roots, that's grade 5, right? So it makes it really, really clear. And then it summarizes it with a question at the end as well. So I find that these, that although it's quite a lot going on, it is very concise. It includes everything you need to know. You've got like trickier questions. You can see 6 steps of simultaneous equations, and then here are trickier questions. So if you're aiming, this is higher, so if you're aiming to get like 7, 8, 9, this would definitely be helpful for you. I think you need to kind of have a bit of background knowledge to be able to like go through these textbooks. It'd be a bit difficult for you to like self-learn, but it's not impossible. I also really like the end of each of the sections have a bit of a warm up and worked exam question. So these are some questions that you can kind of like practice before you go through your actual exam questions. So I like that. I think it works well. At the end of every topic, they've got like worked questions. I prefer the order of this one than, I can't remember, I think it was this one, because I like that they've got the topic, and then at the end of the topic, you've got the exam questions. So you've got the topic there, and then you've got the exam questions right after it. It would annoy me a little bit if I had to like learn the topic and then go to the back of the book to get the associated questions. I like how it's ordered in the CGP book as well. So this is actually probably my top 2. I'll rank them at the end. And then last is the BBC Bitesize Pearson Edexcel book. Yeah, I'm not sure if they have others, but this is the Pearson one anyway. And yeah, let's go into it. This is the revision guide, by the way. It's quite thin, so it's just a revision guide. I don't know if they have any questions. Actually, they did have questions. Yeah, they have some questions. So this one I actually quite like. I like how light it is and how easy it is to just access. These seem a little bit more, I mean, you know, of course they've got more information in them, but if you're thinking about you and, you know, the fact that you may be taking this to school or like on a bus or like to the library, this is quite heavy. This is not as bad. So just something to bear in mind. So I like how clean the inside is. Like, even though it has color, it's just so aesthetically pleasing. It's just clean, and it has like the titles and the summaries and the subtopics. So let's say like linear inequalities, you've got solving inequalities, that's number 1. Then you've got a worked example, then you've got the golden rules, what you can do, then you've got a little checklist, and then you've got like the next topic and some exam style questions. I like also, one thing that I really like about this is that it lets you tick off subsections. So the other books that I've looked at, they kind of give you ticks for when you've done like the whole section. Whereas most of the time, you know, even though it's one page, that could be a whole 3 or 4 lessons in your class. So I like that they allow you to tick off and say, right, I've done that one section, I'll tick that off. And then I've done that one. Now Fibonacci sequences, I'm going to tick that one off. And then straight line graphs, I'm going to tick that one off. I've done the worked example, I've checked that, I've done exam style practice, and it just really means that you are not missing any parts, and you can kind of like, because sometimes when we teach maths, we don't necessarily teach it in order. So if you're learning one bit and not the other part, this could work out well for you. I also like how their worked examples are very clear in terms of like what grade it's targeting. So targeting grade 9, targeting 5 to 6, really clear, you've got your answers there and everything. So yeah, I really like this. Only thing about this book I would say is that it doesn't have any exam style questions. They have got something called exam style practice. They do have that. But you know, because it's such a small, thin book, they can only really, the maximum marks they have here is like 4 marks, I would say 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks, 1 mark questions. So it's also not in the format that you would get in an exam. So I think it's really important for you to practice what your actual exam papers will be looking like. So I think when it comes to revision and, you know, starting off and just trying to just like learn the topics, all these textbooks will be great. But when it comes to actually like practicing and becoming proficient in actually sitting exams, which is a whole different thing, it's really important that you actually do exam questions that look like exam questions, which this CGP has it. Collins have it as well. Yeah, Collins have it as well, and Pearson Vision Workbook, Pearson have it as well. So I think it's important that you are accompanying your revision guide with a workbook. But yeah, I hope you found this helpful. If I had to rank, I would probably go for the Pearson Revise, even though it is 2 books. I do like the way it's laid out. I think it's quite clean, and I love how it just gives you, like, especially as a higher student, it just gives you like the exact grades that you need to achieve. And then second, I would probably go for, this is a hard one, I would probably, I don't know, one of these. If you're someone who doesn't mind the busyness and a lot going on, then I would probably say maybe CGP. If you're someone who wants a little bit more of a cleaner, sleek look, then I would probably say go for the BBC Bitesize one, which I really like as well. It's just so lovely. Like, I just want to go back to school and learn again. But yeah, anywho, let me know if you found this helpful, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.